Our marriage tip from Jesus today is about keeping your word. So we're going to go back to Matthew chapter 5, the Sermon on the Mount, starting in verse 34. Jesus says, "You have heard that it was said," talking about the Old Testament law, the old way. And here he says, "But I say, don't make any vows. If you say, 'By heaven,' it is a sacred vow because heaven is God's throne. And if you say, 'By the earth,' it is a sacred vow because the earth is God's footstool." But it says in verse 36, "Don't even swear by my head, by your own head, for you can't turn one hair white or black." And he goes on in verse 37 and says, "Just say a simple 'yes, I will,' or 'no, I won't.' Your word is enough. To strengthen your promise with a vow shows that something is wrong." So again, we've been looking at these tips from Jesus about the Sermon on the Mount and how he looks at the Old Testament and the old way and how they had gotten locked into, well, if I do it exactly as the law said, some of these things that we've made up over time, then I'm good to go. So taking an oath and just pledging an oath really didn't mean that much anymore. And then you can say, well, it'll mean more if I promise by, in God's name, by heaven or by earth or even my own head. And what Jesus is saying is, listen, guys, you've totally missed the point about keeping an oath as a promise. You shouldn't have to swear upon something else to make it mean something. So like he said in verse 37, just say a simple yes or no. Your word is enough. So I want to look at that today, how that can apply to marriage. Here's the point. Don't trade away your integrity. What I mean by that is be true to the words that you speak. Don't trade your integrity, the trustworthiness that you have, for the little lies that we might say in marriage. Don't trade your integrity and the ability for people to trust you because, well, telling a little lie makes me look a little bit better in this situation or doesn't make my spouse as angry with me if I leave out some details. Don't trade away your integrity for the exaggerations either. Sometimes we expound on a story to make it sound better because we want our spouse to think it was as big of a deal as we want them to think. Or we exaggerate things because we want the story to sound better, to be funnier in some way. Don't trade away your integrity for such things. And then the last thing, don't trade away your integrity even for placating your spouse. So don't say, "Yep, I'll get to that. Sure, I'll do this for you," or "I'll be a part of this," or "I promise I'll do this later. I swear I'll get it done," and not have any truthfulness behind those words, that you're just placating. You're saying what you need to say in the minute to your spouse to get them off your back, but you really don't mean those words. The main thing in marriage, one of the basic tenets of a healthy relationship, is that you're earning trust constantly in marriage. You want to earn trust with every word and action. So tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Let that be the goal in your marriage. Make sure that you as Jesus is saying here, your words should be enough. You shouldn't have to expound or "I promise" or "I swear," because if you're a trustworthy person, if you're a person of integrity, then your words should stand for your words because you mean what you say and you say what you mean. So take a few minutes and answer these questions in the Talk About It section and see how keeping your word in your marriage needs to improve.